Make Walters your spot, not only before and after every game at Nationals Park, but Walters also is right by Audi Field, and DC United, the Washington Spirit, and the DC Defenders are all in season.
Hi, Ryan Reynolds here for Mint Mobile. Are you looking for a beach read this summer? May I suggest your big wireless bill? It's got suspense, mystery, a slightly flat, emotional arc, and a shocking twist where you realize you've been overpaying the entire time. Fortunately, though, Mint's story is better. Every plan, $15 a month, even unlimited. That's it. Happy ending, zero tears. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.
Some days call for some oomph to amplify your everyday look. Like when you want the look of false lashes without the extra effort. Reach for Thrive Cosmetics Liquid Lash Volumizer Mascara. Or when you want all eyes on your smile, keep Empower Gloss Ultra Glossy Lip Serum in your bag. It's a burst of 24-hour hydration that smooths like a serum, shines like a gloss, and can be worn sheer or layered. You'll also look and feel your best with Thrive Cosmetics. Plus, every product is 100% vegan, cruelty-free, and made with clean, skin-loving ingredients that work with your skin, not against it. And for every product purchased, Thrive Cosmetics donates to help communities thrive. So every time you use your favorite Thrive Cosmetics product, you're helping communities you care about too. Amplify your everyday. Go to thrivecosmetics.com/shine26 for an exclusive offer of 20% off your first order. That's Thrive Cosmetics, CAUSEMETICS.com/shine26.
3-0 the count. Ruiz waiting. Bieber kicks and fires. Low ball 4. The Nationals lead 1-0. Cade Ruiz draws a bases-loaded walk, scoring James Wood. 3 walks in the inning for Bieber, plus an infield hit. And now a mound visit. Here's the set at the belt. The kick and the payoff pitch. High ball 4. He's walked another one. Nationals lead 2-0. Cruz scores on a pair of bases-loaded walks. 4th walk of the inning. He's walked 4 of 6 batters already. The runners will be off. Here's the set. The 3-2 pitch on the way. High and inside, ball 4. It's 4-0 Nationals. Another bases-loaded walk. Coming in to score is Ruiz. Coming out of the dugout is John Schneider. A nightmare of a first inning for Shane Bieber.
Now the pitch. Swing by Garcia. Drive to deep right field. This is way back. It's going. It's gone. Goodbye. Bang. Zoom goes Luis Garcia Jr. His 22nd home run of the year. A 2-run homer for Garcia. And the Nationals now lead by the score of 6-2.
And welcome to Nats Chat. I'm Al Galdi, host of the Al Galdi podcast. My usual co-host, Washington Nationals insider Mark Zuckerman of NatsJournal.com. He is off for this installment of the podcast, but I'm pleased to be joined by the owner, creator, and executive producer of this podcast, Tim Shovers. And here we have the Nats now 7-4 since the All-Star break. Remember, the Nats getting swept in 3 games against the New York Yankees at Nationals Park going into the All-Star break. That seems like a while ago. An 8-6 win over the Toronto Blue Jays at Nationals Park on Tuesday night in Game 2 of a 3-game series. This was a game for which the start was delayed for 1 hour and 7 minutes due to rain. The game itself took 3 hours. This was a lengthy night at Nationals Park, but the Nats got the win. And yeah, they now are 7-4 since the All-Star break. The Nats, for the regular season as a whole, now are 55-53 with a run differential of plus 31. 1 game behind the Arizona Diamondbacks for the National League's 3rd of 3 wild card spots. The Diamondbacks won at the Pittsburgh Pirates 8-7 in 12 innings on Tuesday evening. The Blue Jays, they now are 10 games under 500, 49-59. Run differential of minus 63. Good to have you with us. This installment of Nats Chat brought to us by the nonprofit Chesapeake Climate Action Network Action Fund. Its annual raffle drawing for 3 amazing electric car prizes is this Thursday at 6 p.m. Tired of $4 a gallon for gas? Hurry and buy tickets while they last at evraffle.org. That's evraffle.org. Proceeds help CCAN Action Fund fight for cleaner air in the DMV. Again, that website, evraffle.org. Cade Cavalli continues to surge for the Nats. Just more good work from him. I have quite the stat to deliver to you regarding the excellent work of Cade Cavalli. We'll get to that coming up in a bit. Also, Trevor Williams is coming back. We had that news late night on Tuesday night via Nats manager Blake Butera during his post-game press conference. But Tim, the Nats trending in the right direction. You know, we don't know to what extent how the Nats do right now is going to govern, is going to determine, is going to influence what Nats president of baseball operations Paul Taboni does regarding that 2026 MLB trade deadline, which is this Monday, August 3rd at 6 p.m. Eastern. But to whatever degree how the Nats do right now is impacting Taboni's thinking regarding that deadline. The Nats are doing well. Again, 7-4 since the All-Star break.
Doing well indeed. They've played 3 bad teams since the All-Star break, and they've beaten them in the Athletics, Colorado, and now Toronto. And these games between the All-Star break and the trade deadline, like we've talked about, they have a little bit of extra juice to them because a decision has to be made. A deadline is looming. And man, is this team really forcing Paul Taboni to reevaluate the direction for the rest of this season and beyond based upon the way they are playing. They're 7-4 after the All-Star break, and I'm not remotely surprised.
So the Nats in this game, another good game offensively, and you figured that was coming off what happened on Monday evening, right? A 3-2 loss to the Blue Jays at Nationals Park in Game 1 of this series. It has been so rare that the Nats have had 2 consecutive bad offensive games this season, right? So that we were going to get that in this series seemed unlikely. Sure enough, the Nats on Tuesday night, 8 runs, 8 hits, which were 2 home runs, 6 singles, 8 walks, 2 for 7 with runners in scoring position. How about the bottom of the first? You know, we have seen the Nats be so good in first innings, right? Well, I guess the Nats are getting bored with the conventional measures in terms of scoring runs in first innings. And so we on Tuesday night saw the Nats get creative with how they did their first inning run scoring. The Nats in the bottom of the first scored 4 runs on a whopping 6 walks, an infield single, and an RBI sac fly. I don't know that I've ever seen anything like that. A 4-run first, or just a 4-run inning period, on 6 walks, an infield single, and an RBI sac fly. The Blue Jays starting pitcher was Shane Bieber. He was a mess. He lasted for just 2/3 of an inning. He allowed 4 runs in throwing 15 strikes versus 27 balls. 42 pitches, yes, but how about the strike-to-ball ratio? 15 strikes versus 27 balls. Bieber was all out of whack. The Nats took full advantage. And Tim, that first inning really was something from this Nats offense.
Yeah, the Nats were given a bit of a gift. Shane Bieber, he tossed 7 innings his last outing out there. I don't know if we're going to hear more news about Shane Bieber later this week, if he's hurt or something, but he clearly was way, way off. And he hurt himself even further by not making the simple tag of the bag to get CJ Abrams. The review went the Nationals' way. So as you said, they score 4 runs with the ball leaving the infield exactly 1 time and 6 walks. Here's where the Nats really, I hand it to them, because it was clear right away that Bieber didn't have it. Wood draws the walk right away. And they immediately took a patient approach and knew, all right, we got something here. And it was very obvious if you're watching the game and you obviously know about the Nationals bullpen, like, hey, they got to have a big inning here. They can't just get 1 or 2 runs, and they end up emerging with 4 runs. I really like Jacob Young. He had the last walk with the bases loaded and started out 3-0. Bieber was wild. Then he held tight through 2 pitches, payoff pitch, and Bieber was very outside and wild.
The 3-2 pitch on the way. High and inside, ball 4. It's 4-0 Nationals. Another bases loaded walk.
And it was like, okay, that was great patience right there from a team that we've been criticizing for years for like never being patient.
And so much better this season in that department of patience. Like when you talk about the improvement of the offense, right, it starts with the home run, no doubt. But I think number 2 on that list is the walk. And the team is so much better at drawing walks. Now, we do know that walks are up across the board in MLB. A lot of people think that's because of the ABS challenge system. But look, whatever the case, the Nats, even relative to that, are demonstrating improvement when it comes to plate discipline, and we certainly saw that in that bottom of the first inning. Now, some balls did leave the infield in the Nats' 3-run fourth in this game. Luis Garcia Jr. and Dylan Cruz, they went back-to-back in terms of hitting home runs, and we talk about the trade deadline, right? So what to do about Luis Garcia Jr. What will the Nats do? What should the Nats do? Garcia, as the Nats starting first baseman and number 2 batter, 2 for 5 with a 2-run homer and a single. Garcia in the Nats 3-run fourth had a 2-out, 2-run homer to right field for a 6-2 Nats lead, and the homer came off a lefty. Blue Jays lefty reliever Mason Fluharty. Garcia, of course, notoriously struggles against lefties, but in this game, a homer off a lefty. Luis Garcia Jr. now has 22 home runs and an OPS of 864, and I think what happens with him regarding the trade deadline is going to be so interesting. We already, of course, have seen infielder Curtis Mead get traded by the Nats in the lead up to this deadline. Obviously, you do have shortstop C.J. Abrams as a trade candidate, but the more you read and listen to what especially national MLB insiders are saying about Abrams, it doesn't sound like Abrams is going to get dealt. Of course, he could get dealt, but the general vibe with Abrams seems to be that if the Nats deal him, it would be this coming offseason, not in season right now. Foster Griffin, we'll see. I think the Nats are going to trade Griffin, but we'll see what they do with the guy who has been the team's best starting pitcher this season. And then there is Garcia, and I think the Garcia case study is fascinating because I don't think there's a simple answer here. So he's in his age 26 season. He is only under team control through next season, through the 2027 season. He has slid down the defensive spectrum, right? He has gone from shortstop to second base to now first base. So he's lost a lot of defensive value, but his offensive production is spiking. He's a guy who had been a decent hitter. He this season has been a great hitter, 22 homers now, OPS 864. What do you think the Nats should do with Luis Garcia Jr. regarding this trade deadline?
My strong hunch is that he is dealt before the trade deadline, and that Paul Taboni simply can't help himself because he has an asset who is, sell high. And you mentioned team control. Come the offseason, now there's only 1 year left. Like, this is the time to trade Luis Garcia Jr. right now, before August 3rd at 6 p.m. Eastern. Defensively, he's extremely replaceable. We know the defensive metrics. There was an example tonight on Yorbi Vivas's errant throw where a different first baseman might have made the play, might have made the grab. Garcia did not. But now you do have to replace Garcia's bat, and that's extra important because Mead's bat is not being replaced in the lineup because so far it's a platoon between House and Vivas. So that's a bit of a drop off there. You take Garcia's bat out, you weaken it even further. But to add to the conundrum, Al, if they trade away Griffin, Taboni's calculus might be, hey, I trade away Foster Griffin, but I get back a pitcher for Mead and a pitcher for Garcia. That sort of thinking could be in play.
Yeah, of course, so much of this comes down to, well, what can you get for the guy? Like, to sit here and say the Nats should trade him or shouldn't trade him, well, we don't know what the Nats are being offered for Luis Garcia Jr. So I think that's kind of an important aspect of all of this. But, the fact that his stock is such to where you can use him now as a real trade chip and you can maybe get something of extreme value for him. I mean, the Nats got a young, high upside starting pitcher under team control for years to come for Curtis Mead. If they could get that for Curtis Mead, what could the Nats get for Luis Garcia Jr.? And I suppose you could say, well, Mead had more trade value because Mead is slightly younger and under team control for more years. But with Mead, you could make the case there's more of a fluke factor because he had never come close to doing what he's doing this season. Garcia has had decent, if not good, offensive seasons prior to this. Never a season as good as this, but he has shown himself to be a decent, if not good hitter at times. I think that's going to be really interesting with this, too. If the Nats trade Garcia, what were they able to get for him, given what the team got for Curtis Mead? And, we're sort of wrestling with shadows right now. We don't know what Paul Taboni is being offered for Garcia, but, it's interesting to think about it from that perspective. I think we were all surprised by what the Nats were able to get for Curtis Mead. And so I don't think it's foolish to wonder, well, if the Nats got that for Curtis Mead, what might they be able to get for Luis Garcia Jr.?
This installment of Nats Chat is brought to us by our friends at the Chesapeake Climate Action Network Action Fund, one of the best nonprofits fighting for a greener environment in the DMV. Their annual raffle drawing for 3 amazing electric car prizes is this Thursday at 6 p.m. Tired of $4 a gallon for gas? Hurry and buy tickets while they last at evraffle.org. That's evraffle.org. All proceeds help CCAN Action Fund fight for cleaner air in the DMV. Here are 3 reasons you should visit the website evraffle.org and grab a raffle ticket today. Again, evraffle.org. Number 1, the prize options are amazing. First prize winner will choose their own luxury Rivian, Lucid, or Porsche EV worth up to $115,000. Second place will choose between the Rivian R2, Volkswagen ID Buzz, or a Hyundai Ioniq 5. And the third prize winner gets the amazing Chevy Bolt. Reason number 2, each ticket gets you 3 chances to win an EV, which means your odds are incredible. Tickets are just $200 and a limited number will be sold. They even cover taxes and fees on the prizes. And reason number 3, CCAN Action Fund fights for affordable clean energy nationwide. 3 lucky people are going to win and you could be one of them. Get your ticket today at www.evraffle.org. That's evraffle.org, or check out the link in today's show notes.
If your business runs on 5 different apps, 12 browser tabs, and 1 spreadsheet that everyone's afraid to touch, it's probably time for Odoo. Odoo is an all-in-one business management software that connects every part of your business into one powerful, easy-to-use platform. So instead of wasting time switching between disconnected systems, your entire business works together in real time. Your team moves faster, your data stays accurate, and you can actually focus on growing your business. Let one unified system run your entire business. From the first opportunity to the final payment, everything works together in one place. Whether you're a small business or managing a large operation, Odoo gives you one flexible platform built to grow with you. Learn more at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Feel your best and amplify your everyday look with Thrive Cosmetics. Go to thrivecosmetics.com/shine26 for an exclusive offer of 20% off your first order. That's Thrive Cosmetics, CAUSEMETICS.com/shine26.
Easy to the wind and the pitch on the way. Cruz swings and belts one to deep left center field. Way back it goes and gone. Goodbye. Back-to-back home runs on 2 different pitchers for the Nationals. Bang! Zoom goes Dylan Cruz with his 9th home run of the year. That's his 3rd home run in his last 8 games out of 10 hits. It's now the Nationals 7 and the Blue Jays 2.
Good things are happening with Dylan Cruz right now. He is the Nats starting right fielder and number 3 batter, went 1 for 4 with a solo homer and a walk. He and the Nats' 3-run 4th had a 2-out solo homer to left center field for a 7-2 Nats lead. The homer went a projected 408 feet per StatCast. And don't look now, but Dylan Cruz for this month of July has an OPS of 844. With all of the talk about the trade deadline, where the Nats are in the standings, etc., Dylan Cruz maybe not getting talked about as much as he otherwise would. He's having a really good month of July, and he's hitting for some power here now. He had been getting on base this month. We're seeing the power numbers creep up here in this month of July. So good to see this from Dylan Cruz. We had been begging for something like this, and we're getting this right now.
Very well timed. After the Meade trade, maybe Garcia exits. They're going to need more from Cruz's bat down the stretch here in the final few months. So this is, good timing on his end. And we don't know exactly how long this, all right, put up or shut up Dylan Cruz stretch is, but we do know it's certainly underway. And a hot month, a hot few months while playing competitive games would go a long way in that decision.
Yeah, you don't miss Curtis Meade as much if a Dylan Cruz rises up, and we're seeing Dylan Cruz rise up. We're also seeing Brady House do well. House came off the bench in this game to pinch hit and play third base, 2 for 3 with a couple of singles. So good to see Brady House doing well so far over a few game sample size in this latest stint at the major league level.
And both singles were against a righty. I think that's really important too.
Absolutely it is. We saw Luis Garcia Jr. homer off a lefty. We saw Brady House get multiple singles off right-handed pitching in this game. What was going on with the Nats offense in this game on Tuesday night? Good to see that. The Nats, for this regular season, continue to be number 1 in MLB in runs scored. That total now at 594. The Nats starting pitcher in this 8-6 win over the Blue Jays at Nationals Park on Tuesday night was Cade Cavalli, and the rise of Cade Cavalli continues. 3 runs, 2 earned in 6 innings. And Nats manager Blake Butera during his postgame press conference on Tuesday night flat out said that Cavalli did not have his best stuff.
He didn't have his best stuff tonight. I'm sure he'll tell you that too, but it shows a lot when he's able to get through 6 innings the way he was when you don't have the best stuff, so to speak.
And yet still, Cavalli, 3 runs, 2 earned in 6 innings. You talk about the maturation of a young starting pitcher, right? Like that's always a big sign of that when the guy doesn't have his best stuff, is still able to be effective. And sure enough, Cavalli was effective and then some in this game. He gave up 6 hits, which were a home run, a double, and 4 singles, issued 2 walks, only recorded 3 strikeouts, but he did throw a good number of strikes, 98 pitches, 64 strikes, 34 balls, and his velocity was good. Cavalli per StatCast had an average 4-seam fastball velocity of 97.4 miles per hour. So Cade Cavalli now, 23 games all starts, ERA of 3.55, whip of 1.29. But Cade Cavalli now over his last 7 starts, ERA of 2.52, 48 strikeouts versus 8 walks. He has a strike-to-ball ratio of 6-1 over his last 7 starts to go with a 2.52 ERA. We are seeing him get better. We are seeing improvement. We are seeing him as the Nats now are in the midst of, this push to make the postseason. And, maybe in the midst of this push to convince the head of baseball operations to buy and not sell. We are seeing the best of Cade Cavalli. We've talked about this step forward season that he's having and how encouraging this season has been. But the Cade Cavalli of recent vintage, the Cade Cavalli of these last few weeks has been superb, and another good outing on Tuesday night.
Right now, he's one of the best pitchers in the National League. He's a true frontline starter, and he's a frontline starter on a competitive team in late July. I agree with Blake Butera. I did not think that he had his top stuff, even though his top stuff still means an average fastball of 97 miles per hour. Still has a really solid line. Gave him 6 innings. Every inning's crucial at this stage because we know how hard it can be to get those final few outs for this bullpen. Really for Cavalli and Griffin, but just focusing on Cavalli, 6 innings minimum needs to be the rest of the way the final 2 months of the season. But I'm just going to also tip my cap to Cavalli. He's going to enter August with an ERA under 4. Think of all the years and all the negative updates we heard about Cade Cavalli and how long it took for him to return to the mound. And not only does he come back, but he is pitching this well. Nationals fans do not take this for granted.
Absolutely not. And, you talk about it taking so long for the Nats to finally reap the benefits of Cade Cavalli at the major league level. It did take a long time, right? A guy who was taken with a first-round pick in 2020. We're now in late July 2026. But as the saying goes, right, better late than never. And, it's not just that the Nats now are reaping the benefits of Cavalli at the major league level. He's really producing for them at the major league level. They're not using him as a reliever. They're not using him as a number 4, number 5 starter. He's performing right now like a number 1 starter, and he may be long-term a really good number 2 starter. Maybe he is a number 1 starter. We'll see. But the way he's pitching lately, he's pitching like a dominant number 1 with those numbers I just gave you. 2.52 ERA, 48 strikeouts versus just 8 walks. All of that coming over his last 7 starts. So great stuff from Cade Cavalli, and keep it going, man. And, the other thing, too, and I say this while crossing my fingers and knocking on wood, but he's staying healthy, right? All the concerns about his health and the injury issues, he, since being brought up to the majors last season, has stayed healthy. He has demonstrated durability in addition to being so good here this season.
Everyone, stop for a second and listen. As Al said, knock on wood indeed with Cavalli. I also now kind of have been wondering, it's almost like you have to put the resumes side by side of who's the ace, Cavalli or Griffin. Actually, I don't know. Not only are they both pitching so well, but they're pitching so well where you don't even know who the ace is on the team at this point.
No, I mean, the overall body of work for this season, Foster Griffin has been better, but in terms of who's pitching the best right now, I mean, I think it's 6 in one, half dozen in the other. Each guy is doing really well right now. And when's the last time the Nats had this? 2 starting pitchers who at the same time were thriving. I mean, this is, 2019 territory, what the Nats have right now with Cade Cavalli and Foster Griffin. And of course, we'll see if that continues, regarding Foster Griffin being on the team. As for the Nats relief pitching in this 8-6 win over the Blue Jays at Nationals Park on Tuesday night, 4 Nats relievers combined to allow 3 runs, 2 earned in 3 innings, but only one of the 4 relievers struggled. Tom Cosgrove tossed a perfect top of the 7th. Gus Varland, who we brought up on the last installment of the podcast, he was back for this game, although he's already back for AAA Rochester. But Varland in this game allowed 3 runs, 2 earned, without recording an out in facing 3 batters in the top of the 8th, during which he gave up a 3-run homer by George Springer on a moonshot to center field to cut the Nats' lead to 8-6. The homer went a projected 437 feet per Statcast. Now, one of the runs was unearned thanks to a fielding error by shortstop C.J. Abrams, but of course that didn't mean that Varland had to give up the homer. And here you had Gus Varland. So the Nats on Tuesday afternoon announced having recalled him from AAA Rochester. His brother Louis Varland is the Blue Jays closer. They actually did the exchanging of lineup cards prior to the game. That was nice, but then Gus Varland goes out there on Tuesday night, struggles again. The Nats late night on Tuesday night announced having optioned Varland back to AAA Rochester. So already Varland is back for AAA Rochester, and the corresponding roster move is going to be the Nats activating pitcher Trevor Williams, who will be pitching out of the bullpen. Nats manager Blake Butera, during his postgame press conference on Tuesday night, revealed that news. Trevor Williams has been on the 60-day injured list as he recovers from an internal brace procedure to repair a partially torn UCL in his right elbow. He underwent that procedure all the way back on July 17th, 2025, and now, at last, he's being activated to pitch again at the major league level. More on that momentarily, but also with the Nats relief pitching in this game, Orlando Revolta retired each of the 3 batters he faced, recording 2 strikeouts. Another good outing for Revolta. He came in and basically regained control of this game from a standpoint of not allowing this game to get out of hand with more bad relief pitching. It was Revolta who replaced Gus Varland. Revolta came in, faced 3 batters, got 3 outs, and then Clayton Bieber tossed a perfect top of the 9th for the save. So a lot to take in here. We had Cosgrove, Revolta, and Bieber doing well. We had Gus Varland being brought up for 1 game, struggling again, and then being sent back down. And Tim, we have the return of Trevor Williams to the major league level for the Nats. And for now, Trevor Williams, who we had seen over his multiple seasons with the Nats get used as a starting pitcher, he's about to be used as a reliever.
A lot there, indeed. All right, 5 bullpen pitchers. Let me go through them. I'll start with Cosgrove. Tom Cosgrove, I like what I see. If you missed it, he was picked up by the Nats a few weeks ago. The Astros had a roster crunch. He went to Rochester for a bit. He's been called up. I think he's going to be here for a little while, liking what I see out of Cosgrove. Gus Varland, really glad it worked out. You got to see your family. Cool moment, tough night. Then Orlando Revolta, maybe the MVP of this game, comes in 8-6 after the George Springer 3-run homer. It feels like here we go again, another night that the bullpen's going to blow it. And he instead pitches a clean inning the rest of the way, keeps that 2-run lead going into the 9th inning. That changed the momentum of the entire game right there. So good job by Revolta. Clayton Bieber, I've reached a point of blind confidence in Clayton Bieber. When I heard the broadcast say that Clayton Bieber's coming into the game, I said, all right, I trust this. I think he's going to nail it down and get the save. Sure enough, he did. And then finally, Trevor Williams. Who knows? He might stink. I have no clue what he'll be like coming off this injury. But I do think this is a very worthwhile experiment. This is a guy who has been a starting pitcher, and he can really only go about 4 innings, but that means he could probably go 2 innings. So if he's decent enough, he can be a long reliever out of the pen for the Nationals, and you can use him early, use him late. So if he's just somewhat decent, he could be a valuable asset to this team, actually.
Well, the Nats need a long reliever, right, with Brad Lord out due to injury. And Trevor Williams has done well in relief in the past. It's not like this is, a foreign role for him, and it's not like he hasn't had success in this role. So we'll see. I mean, you have no idea what to expect from a guy coming off not just the procedure that he underwent, but this lengthy absence for him at the major league level. So we'll see. But I think if you're going to bring back Trevor Williams, this is what you do. Put him in the bullpen, see what you can get out of him. And that activation presumably is coming on Wednesday. Al Galdi here to tell you about Window Nation. But before that, the Window Nation look into the future.
First pitch to Walsh. He swings. Skies one deep to right field, and that is gone! Jacob Walsh, a walk-off 2-run home run. And the Wilmington Blue Rocks will walk it off against the Hudson Valley Renegades and earn a series split.
Hey, Al Galdi here for Window Nation. If you're using chat to research your next home improvement project, forget the prompts. We've got all the details on a company that you can trust. For replacement windows and doors without the hassle, just look up Window Nation. Window Nation is the real deal. Homeowners across the country love the one-day installation process, especially since Window Nation installers leave your home cleaner than when they started. And this month, you can get 50% off all window styles, plus 0 down, 0 interest, and no payments for 2 years. That's a lot of savings on top of quality windows and doors. 866-90NATION or windownation.com, and tell Window Nation that you want the deal that you heard about from Al Galdi on the Nats Chat podcast. Window Nation, the real deal when it comes to replacement windows and doors. 866-90NATION, windownation.com, and tell Window Nation that you want the deal that you heard about from Al Galdi on the Nats Chat podcast.
Some days call for some oomph to amplify your everyday look. Like when you want the look of false lashes without the extra effort. Reach for Thrive Causemetics Liquid Lash Volumizer Mascara. Or when you want all eyes on your smile, keep Empower Gloss Ultra Glossy Lip Serum in your bag. It's a burst of 24-hour hydration that smooths like a serum, shines like a gloss, and can be worn sheer or layered. You'll also look and feel your best with Thrive Causemetics. Plus, every product is 100% vegan, cruelty-free, and made with clean, skin-loving ingredients that work with your skin, not against it. And for every product purchased, Thrive Causemetics donates to help communities thrive. So every time you use your favorite Thrive Causemetics product, you're helping communities you care about too. Amplify your everyday. Go to thrivecosmetics.com/shine26 for an exclusive offer of 20% off your first order. That's Thrive Cosmetics, CAUSEMETICS.com/shine26.
Here's the set and the 0-1 pitch. Swinging a line drive toward the second baseman Nunez. He makes the catch, and the Nationals win the ball game 8-6. Straw lines out sharply, but Bieber gets the save, number 11. Cade Cavalli gets win number 8. And the Nationals have evened up this series at a win apiece as they scored 4 in the first and had back-to-back homers in the fourth. And the Nationals hold on for the 8-6 win. They're back to 2 games over the 500 mark.
The Nats get the win. They now have a chance to win this series. I don't think anyone would be pleased with the Nats losing this series, given how bad the Blue Jays are and given what's ahead for the Nats after this homestand, that 8-game road trip comprised of back-to-back 4-game series against the top 2 teams in the National League East in the Atlanta Braves and Philadelphia Phillies. And, you know, when it comes to where we are with this Nats team making the postseason, I brought this up on a recent installment of the podcast, and I think it bears worth repeating. You know, we get into this idea of, like, if you're Paul Taboni, what do you think of this Nats team this season? And I get that. And I don't think you should sacrifice the long term for the short term. But at the same time, it continues to be so underwhelming what you see when you look around the National League beyond the big four of the Braves, the Brewers, the Dodgers, and the Cubs. And I wonder how much that impacts Paul Taboni's thinking of, well, yeah, we have our flaws. And yeah, you know, there are some things about us that I wish were better. And yeah, you know, I don't know necessarily on paper that we would, you know, have a shot to go deep in the postseason. But at the same time, once you get into the postseason tournament, anything can happen. And this group of teams contending for these wild card spots, these teams are so underwhelming. I don't see why you can't make the case that the Nats are, if not the best of the bunch, one of the best of the bunch, certainly a team that is good enough to get one of those wild card spots. And I think that's part of this too, that it's not just however good or bad you think the Nats are, it's what is the reality of the other teams in wild card contention. And the reality is that those other teams just are not that good. And there really is an opening here for a team like the Nats, for a team that nobody saw coming to make the postseason this season. And, you know, you say to yourself, like, why can't that be this Nats team?
Over the All-Star break, at no point in time did I seriously entertain the thought of the Nationals making the playoffs or even being in the hunt in late September. But our off-air conversations for the first few games coming back from the break, especially, and you mentioned this then on air, our observations of Arizona and seeing how mediocre they are. And it was a reminder to myself, like, oh, wait, they're contractually obligated to put out 3 NL wildcard teams. Like, someone has to take that final spot. And I don't think it's going to be the Nationals, just like at gut reaction, but I'm starting to warm to the idea that it could be the Nationals. I think we're going to be playing some competitive games here in mid to late September. And so just like you said, Al, like the competition is weak. The Nationals have 2 pitchers in Cavalli and Griffin that stack up against anyone if they're still on the roster. Abrams and Wood are 2 stars. Like Abrams is being mentioned as an NL MVP candidate right now for the hot stretch that he's had in July. So yeah, this is setting up for a very fun final 2 months. And Nats fans, like, this team might be just as good as anyone else involved in this third wildcard hunt.
The Nats have the 6th best run differential in the National League. You know, I mean, that's what we're looking at here. For whatever flaws you want to talk about with this Nats team, the team has the 6th best run differential in the National League and is at 2 games above 500 at 55 and 53. Given the mediocrity in this wild card race in the NL. And by the way, don't even look at the American League wild card race. That's even worse. But given the mediocrity in this wild card race in the NL, there really is no good reason why the Nats can't wind up with one of those 3 wild card spots. And so, you know, it's a funny deal. The Nats could trade Foster Griffin, could trade Luis Garcia, and still wind up getting a wild card spot. It's not inconceivable that something like that could happen, depending on what the Nats get back, depending on what others on the Nats do. But like, this is the kind of season we're looking at here, to where you don't have to be great to do great. And the Nats are putting themselves in a good position here with how they're playing overall since the All-Star break. But got to take care of business on Wednesday afternoon. Again, losing this series at the Blue Jays would not be good, given what is ahead with this team.
Al, I'm calling Wednesday a must-win for the Nats. We're getting close to the trade deadline. Got that huge, pivotal 8-game road trip coming up against the big boys in the NL East in Atlanta and Philly. This is the last chance to play an under 500 team for a bit. Huge game on Wednesday.
Game 3 for the Nats against the Blue Jays at Nationals Park Wednesday afternoon at 1:05. The Nats have listed Zack Littell as their probable starting pitcher for the game. This installment of Nats Chat brought to us by the nonprofit Chesapeake Climate Action Network Action Fund. Its annual raffle drawing for 3 amazing electric car prizes is this Thursday at 6 p.m. Tired of $4 a gallon for gas? Hurry and buy tickets while they last at evraffle.org. That's evraffle.org. Proceeds help CCAN Action Fund fight for cleaner air in the DMV. Again, that website is evraffle.org. We offer shout-outs on the Nats Chat podcast, $25 a pop. Email Tim for more information, natschatpodcast@gmail.com. And we have this, a shout-out to the Cheshire family who make 1 trip a year to Nationals Park and chose the Blue Jays series for this year's occasion. Drew, Mandy, Cameron, Katie, and Jonah all will be decked out in their Nats Chat gear. A special congrats to Katie for graduating high school last week. So congrats to Katie, and thank you to the Cheshire family for being fans of the Nats Chat podcast.
Yeah, Drew and Cameron are big listeners. The family's big listeners. They've been supporters from the start. Really appreciate all the effort that they do to support the podcast. They live in Charlotte, so quite the effort to make it up there. So real extra hustle and make it to Nationals Park for this series.
Awesome stuff. Appreciate the support very much. All Nationals radio highlights on Nats Chat, courtesy of 106.7 The Fan. For Tim Shovers, I'm Al Galdi. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you next time on the Nats Chat podcast.
The payoff. Swing and a miss. He got him. Diamondbacks win. It wasn't easy, and it took 12 innings, but the Diamondbacks have a 1-game lead over Pittsburgh for the last wild card spot in the NL. They beat the Pirates in 12 innings, 8-7 tonight.